Stuta Shatta Shri Shrimat His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaja Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Vishnu Pad Paramamsa Parivachacharya Stuta Shatta Shri Shrimat His Divine Grace Shri Saraswati Goswami Maharaja Prabhupada Ki Jai. Kantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All verses and devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All verses and devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All verses and devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All verses Shri Guru and Shri Guru.
Okay.
Narayam Namaskritya Nam Charaina Uttamam Devim Saratim Vyasam Tatto Viryam Mudiyate Nastapreya Veshuru Nityam Bhavagna Sevaya Bhavati Uttamashloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our means of conquest, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed in loving service under the personality of Godhead, who is prayed with transcendental songs, is established as an irreversible fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we're reading from the 5th canto, which is called, who knows what is the title of the 5th canto?
The creative impetus.
The creative impetus. And we're reading from the 8th, the chapter 9, the supreme character of Jaya Rama. Now, Jaya Bharata is the reincarnation of Bharata, King Maharaja Bharata. We're reading text 7, 8, 9, and 10. There is a lot of text, and I'm not going to stumble all over these words, so I'm just going to read text 7, and then we're going to read word by word translation, if that is okay with you. Is that okay? Yes? Atai vasi divya sati svagarbha chatam mitunam sapnyanya upanyasya svayam anusamtaya patilokam agat. Ata, thereafter, Yavivyasi, the youngest, Divyasati, Dvichasati, wife of the Brahmana, Svagarbha Chatam, born of her womb, Mithunam, the twins, Sapatnyai, unto the co-wife, Upanyasya, entrusting, Swayam, personally, Anusamstaya, by following her husband, Patilokam, the planet named Patiloka,
planet named Patiloka.
Agad
God
went to.
went to.
Translation by Wisdom and Grace, A.C. Prabhupada Ki. Thereafter, the Brahmana's younger wife, after entrusting her twin children, the boy and girl, to the elder wife, departed for Patiloka, voluntarily dying with her husband. Text number 8, just word-to-word translation. Pitari uparate.
Du kannst sonst einfach die Übersetzung lesen.
Du übersetzt also. Alles gut. Translation of text number 8. After the father died, the 9 stepbrothers of Chadabharata, who considered Chadabharata dull and brainless, abandoned their father's attempt to give Chadabharata a complete education. The stepbrothers of Chadabharata were learned in the 3 Vedas, the Rig Veda, Sama Veda, and Chayur Veda, or Yajur Veda, which very much encouraged fruitive activity. The 9 brothers were not at all spiritually enlightened in devotional service to the Lord. Consequently, they could not understand the highly exalted position of Chadabharata. I'm happy only to read the translation of text 9 to 10. Degraded men are actually no better than animals. The only difference is that animals have 4 legs, and such men have only 2. The 2-legged, animalistic men used to call Chadabharata mad, dull, deaf, and dumb. They mistreated him, and Chadabharata behaved for them like a madman who was deaf, blind, and dull. He did not protest or try to convince them that he was not so. If others wanted him to do something, he acted according to their desires. Whatever food he could acquire by begging or by wages, and whatever came to his own accord, be the small quantity palatable, stale, or tasteless, he would accept and eat. He never ate anything for sense gratification because he was already liberated from the bodily conception, which induces one to accept palatable or unpalatable food. He was full in the transcendental consciousness of devotional service, and therefore he was unaffected by the dualities arising from the bodily conception. Actually, his body was as strong as a bull's, and his limbs were very muscular. He didn't care for winter or summer, wind or rain, and he never covered his body at any time. He lay on the ground and never smeared oil on his body or took a bath. Because his body was dirty, his spiritual effulgence and knowledge were covered just as the splendor of a valuable gem is covered by dirt. He only wore a dirty loincloth and his sacred thread, which was blackish. Understanding that he was born in a Brahmana family, people would call him a Brahma Bandhu and other names. Being thus insulted and neglected by materialistic people, he wandered here and there. Purport. Srila Narottama Dasa Thakura has sung Deha Smriti Nahi Yara Samsara Bandhana Kahantara. One who has no desire to maintain the body, or who is not anxious to keep the body in order, and who is satisfied in any condition, must be either mad or liberated. Actually, Bharata Maharaj, in his birth as Chadabharata, was completely liberated from materialistic duties. He was a Paramahamsa and therefore did not care for bodily comfort. Om Jnanatinandasya Jnanashlaksya Chakshurunmilitam Jnana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tadamayam Tadatikam Sadatikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Saganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Radham Sadhagam Halita Shri Visakam Sha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Chagapati Kopesha Kopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Krishna Nustate Devi Ramani Hare Vancha Kalpadalapisa Kripa Sinopevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shri Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So there is a Swiss saint who actually was quite similar. He didn't care for how he looked. He didn't even eat at all, and he was greatly respected by everybody still. And there was Bruder Klaus of Flögeranft, of Nicholas of Flö, and as you probably know, we are going to visit with Bhakti Raghava Swami Maharaj on March 20th, Bruder Klaus in his hermitage in Sarnen, Sachsen, Obwald, Canton of Obwald. And it is advised that you please register, because there is 60 places available in this restaurant, where one of the highlights will be happening. Armin Rizi, an ISKCON devotee called Atma Tattva, he's going to explain the vision of Bruder Klaus of Gauranga and Nityananda. With his great research, he has absolutely concluded that Bruder Klaus has actually seen Gauranga and Nityananda, and that is amazing. I think this is really amazing. Bruder Klaus was the greatest mystic of this time, and he has actually seen Gauranga and Nityananda, and he lived only 1 hour away from here, and that is where we are going to go, and that is where we are going to hear more about this fantastic revelation that Gaur Nitai made to Bruder Klaus more than 500 years ago, and in the year, more than 500 years ago, and we will go there on the 20th of March. Transportation, you please self-organize. And of course, temple devotees stay with the bus. But otherwise, please write me a WhatsApp so we are sure not to overcrowd the location where this presentation will be given. The rest is on this pamphlet, and this will also be sent out by the Civic Temple. Also, there will be a visit to the library in St. Gallen on 19th of March, the day before, where we visit the wonderful 1,000-year-old library that is UNESCO, cultural heritage, and an exhibition of 1,400 years of religious history with Maharaj on the 19th of March. A guided tour has been paid for by a sponsor, so you can register with this excursion also. Now let me come to the lecture. So this lecture, of course, this reading of these texts are kind of very inspiring. We see that the wife is actually entering the fire with her husband. She gives her twins to the the older wife, and then she enters the fire and goes to Patiloka with her husband. So Patiloka, I looked it up in Wikipedia, is a spiritual planet. That's actually, we want to go to spiritual planets who are eternal. We don't want to stay in material planets, obviously. So far, that much understood. And apparently, when the wife dies with the husband, she goes along with him into this spiritual planet. Of course, there has been a lot of abuse in this context in India, where they force the wife to go into the fire, and she doesn't want to go. So this will probably not make her go to this planet. But it is still inspiring to think about where do we go after this life ends, and how we do prepare ourselves for this moment. And this whole text, the whole literature that is given here in a nutshell, brings back up the teachings, the basic teachings of Prabhupada. And I was kind of drawn into repeating everything to make us remember more deeply what it means at this very last moment of our life to go actually back to the spiritual planet and how it is working. So at the basis of all of this is that unlike Chada Bharata, his brothers who mistreat him, who give him blackened rice, bad grains, and make fun about him and treat him very badly. He's on a spiritual platform, he's always in devotional service, and he's able to revive his Swarup. Who knows what is Swarup, except for the temple president, of course. What is Swarup?
Духовный мире твои служения. Ну кто ты в духовном мире?
This is our eternal identity in the spiritual world, our eternal spiritual body.
Yes. So this is the eternal spiritual identity, and each one of us has a very particular relationship with Krishna. Very, very individual, completely different from the other one. And it's very important, that makes us extremely valuable. Each and every one of us is very, very dear to Krishna because we have this very special relationship with Krishna. But, unfortunately, we have forgot about it. We've forgotten about it. That is the power of Maya. We've been covered over and we forgot about it. So, now by the process of devotional service, we can revive this remembrance and we can go back and live this Swarup again. Now, this is also to be understood that this material nature that we are here in is actually separate from Krishna, but it still is an energy from Krishna, but it is separate. And we have the time, the nature, the karma, and the living entity and the Lord. Those 5 things are described in the Bhagavad Gita. The Lord and the living entity and the nature are eternal, but the karma is not. So the karma can be overcome. So as long as we go back, we rotate in this material world and create karma, meaning we are trying to satisfy our senses, we are trying to make ourselves happy. In this way, we will have results of that karma, and that keeps us in this samsara. So far, so clear, isn't it? So once we decide to live for Krishna, this will be devotional service. And we will enjoy always these results of our activities, and we have done this for time immemorial. But now, as we go and do this only for Krishna, we're completely immersed in devotional service, we will actually transcend that and go back to the spiritual world. And this Ishvara is the supreme consciousness. That means the Prakriti, the nature, is not conscious. But the Jiva, we as a soul, we are conscious. Now we are not supreme conscious, but we are conscious. So this is very theoretical, but actually in the Mayavadi, the Jiva and the Bhagavan is the same. So basically you reach a supreme consciousness. But that's not actually for the Bhakta, who sees a difference here. And that will grant you the entrance into the spiritual planets. And this is the important thing, that the karma is not eternal, the jiva is not super conscious, but the servant of the Lord. And this sounds all quite theoretical, but it all starts with the conception that basically we are not the body. This is very easy to understand. Like a child, you can play and then it says, okay, this is my hand. Even the child says, yeah, this is my hand, this is my foot. And the child can repeat, this is my head. So he says, I'm not I head, I hand. All these basic understandings. Even a child can very much understand quickly and easily. So we can also understand we are not this body. We are the consciousness in the body. But we are the Jiva consciousness in the body, not the supreme consciousness. We are part and parcel of the supreme, but still we are separate, which is our special understanding of this. And how to go back to the spiritual world is explained by Rupa Goswami: to render service to the Supreme Lord and to constantly engage in the business of rendering service unto this living being. Now we've seen here Chadabharata, he's just lying on the ground, he's never covering his body, he's smeared, he's not clean, he is actually behaving like a fool. Hare Krishna.
Haribol. Haribol.
Applause. Thank you. So this understanding is not that we mean that we should become like Chadabharata. That is not the understanding. I mean, he is a supreme super soul. Just think of who Chadabharata was before. As I said before, he was the son of the incarnation of Krishna, isn't it? He was the ruler of the whole world. And like Putin is the ruler of Russia, Russia is still called Russia. It's not called Putin land. Modi is the ruler of India. It's not called Modi land. It's called India. But with Bharata Maharaj, the whole world, not only India or not only Russia or not only Trump land is called Trump land. No, the whole world is called Bharatavarsha. And this is how elevated he was as a king. And then he became a complete devotee. He became completely submersed in devotional service. Absolutely perfect level. So who are we to compare ourselves to this status? So in this way, of course, we cannot just imitate Chadabharat and say, okay, we don't care about our body, we don't care about our financial situation, we don't care about our health, we don't care about nothing. Let just Krishna take care of it. That's not the attitude. And Prabhupada explains in his lecture when he introduces the Bhagavad Gita in New York on February 20, 1966, he explains that we have to this body needs to be maintained. One has to work. This material world, to maintain this body, one has to work, he says. The work is divided into 4 divisions of order: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and so on. But, and he says, you don't need to give up the occupation. But at the same time, you can remember Krishna. And the one who remembers Krishna at the time of death, he will go back to God. Now this always sounded so cryptic to me. It sounded really cryptic to me, and I didn't understand. Now what is it now? Is Chadabharata the example we should live? Like just forget about our responsibilities? Or is it like more the pretty Zurich Protestant way that you're responsible for your life, and God will help those who help themselves, and of course you have to show solidarity with other souls, of course, but there is nothing falling from heaven. You take care of your own situation. And this kind of is very, very difficult to understand, don't you find also? It's very difficult. And I've seen when I was in Bangladesh for 4 years, this has been a discussion. And there has been Bhaktivedanta College. And there has even been studies that we read about this topic. And there was a term, and the term was called premature transcendence. So, if you transcend to this platform of where you don't care about your body anymore, you don't care about nothing, just take care, God, of everything, in the sense of you don't take responsibility, prematurely, then there is a problem. And still, we should invoke this energy and this help, and we should think of Krishna while we do it. But what does it mean, think of Krishna while I do something? What is it actually? What's actually the meaning of it? So tonight we will go to the Bruno Gröning Society, and I think I have finally understood what it means. It helps me to understand the teaching of Prabhupada. I hope also that we can invoke this blessing here. Basically, whatever we do, we ask, we first go into this meditative state of connecting with God. They don't have the concept of Krishna, but we connect to Krishna. We ask Prabhupada for the connection with Krishna. And once we are in this meditative state, where our mind is empty, where our personal tendencies for satisfying our ego, for being someone, wanting to be someone, that is gone, out of our head, where we're just there to now serve Krishna. And then we do whatever we do. And that is devotional service. Now I understood it. I think I got it. After so many years in Krishna consciousness, I finally got what it means to do devotional service and to think of Krishna while you do something. It's not just thinking in the mental sense. Think about Krishna while you do it. Of course, there is also that, but it's not only that. It is actually to get rid of the ego before you do it. To just empty yourself. And I had a personal experience here in this temple a couple of days ago, and I told it last time in my lecture. It was amazing. I was leading Kirtan after Guru Puja, and again, these boring, kind of, not boring, but kind of the same melodies came into my singing, and I said, oh, I hope I have another idea of another melody that makes devotees have a good experience in this service and to connect them with Krishna. And then all of a sudden, nice melodies came, and I said, and there's very little time between the singing. I mean, you sing one mantra, and then the others sing the same mantra, and then you have to sing again the mantra. So you have very little time to change the tune. And in this little time, I asked Jagannath, please Jagannath, you sing. I cannot sing. Please, you sing. I cannot sing. Make these devotees happy. Make them sing for you nicely. And then some amazing thing happened. It wasn't the very best kirtan, of course not, but it was much better than before. And it was a nice experience for everybody participating. I was told later that it was a nice experience, that kirtan. But I was not me singing. It just came out of me. This is, I think, the devotion of service. So we think of, it's also Arjuna, Krishna teaching to Arjuna. I mean, he has to kill all his brothers and teachers and family members, and nobody can imagine to do such a horrific thing. And still, he is now his duty. It's his duty to do exactly that right now. And his mind is completely troubled. But he just surrenders and says, okay, Krishna tells him, look, I killed them already. They're already dead. I mean, this is a very grotesque example, of course, but it makes a powerful statement for us to understand our easy life situations. If it's our duty, then we just do it, and we let Krishna do it, and then we do it as a service, and there's no karmic infliction to it. There's no reaction to it, and that will make us go to the, if we don't create this karma, so we are in this platform that we will go to the heavenly planets. So Prabhupada also has an interesting description of this world here as a world in the shadows. He describes it. This is all in the shadows, and there's not the sunshine like it is in the spiritual world, where everything is self-effulgence. Do you remember the one thing that I mentioned last time that was self-effulgence that we still have today in our culture as a remembrance of the spiritual world? The Christmas tree, exactly. Like the lights are the symbol for radiating light from inside. So it's what is the name of the Christmas tree in the spiritual, in the Vedic scriptures? Desire tree. And the name, the Kalpavriksha tree. Yes, and there's also Kalpavriksha cows, by the way. So you can also go to a cow with such a wish. And so there is this is also in our Western philosophy something that can be read about, and the most famous allegory allegory that has been given in the ancient philosophers in Greece come from Plato, Plato's cave allegory. Who knows that? Who knows about it? No? So it's a very, very special description how he says that all human beings are like in a cave, in a dark cave, and they are shackled onto the cave. They cannot move. They can only look into one direction. And outside there's a sunshine. So now people are walking by outside, and as the sun shines, the shadow is projected on the wall of the cave. And people see all these shadows walking up and down. They interpret this as their real world, because they have not seen anything else. They only have seen these shadows. This is a very, very famous philosophical explanation of the material world. And as Plato also says, you have to go outside. You have to see the real world in the sun. So it's Prabhupada also says, this material world is just a reflection of the spiritual world. So the shadows dancing on that cave, isn't that the reflection of the world outside? A shadow is a reflection in a sense, isn't it? So it's a very clear understanding that has been given to us from so many sides. But we still identify with these shadows. We still think, oh, that is real. Oh, this is what that is our bodies, that is us, that is me. And that is this conception of the bodily platform. It is written here in text 8. The 9 brothers were not at all spiritually enlightened in devotional service to the Lord. And interestingly, in the sentence before, the stepbrothers of Chadavaraka were learned in 3 Vedas: the Rig Veda, Samaveda, and Yajurveda. So, they really learned brahmanas. They learned, they knew how to perform Samaveda. I learned once 1 page A4 of Samaveda. It took me 1 month to learn it by heart. I forgot it again. Samaveda. Da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. It is very, very nice. These Samavedas, Rig Veda, Ayurveda, Hare Krishna, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki, Gaudikai ki. Nicely, wonderful rest. Varadarshan. Thank you so much. So these Vedas are helping us to live in this material world nicely, healthily, but they're all materially oriented. So in some so-called spiritual traditions, they get caught up in all these Samaveda, Rigveda, Yajurveda, which, it's very useful, of course. For instance, the Ayurvedic medicine. It's very, very useful, isn't it? Shouldn't we use Ayurvedic medicine to have better health? Of course we should. But is it our goal to use Ayurvedic medicine? Is that the goal of life? No. The goal of life is not just to make this body healthy. The goal of life is to have a healthy body, yes, but to attain the spiritual platform, to go back to the spiritual world. Actually, Bruno Gröning said we should put the body in the earth healthy, a healthy body into the earth. Because in the next life, we will have that again, what the body has as a disease, if we don't solve the problem. Every disease is a reflection of a problem we have. So we should actually solve these problems. But it is not the goal to have a healthy body. It is the goal to have a healthy body to go back to the spiritual world, to go back to the eternal world. And This remembering of Krishna we exercise in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and it internalized so nicely. It is so powerful, and it is explained that since it is the spiritual world, the dimensions are different. So the name of Krishna and Krishna, there is no difference. Krishna and his name, it's the same. So as we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we have direct association with the Lord. And this is also why when chanting Hare Krishna, we have the opportunity to connect with Krishna. But what do I often observe? Chanting Hare Krishna and at the same time checking WhatsApp messages. Chanting Hare Krishna and at the same time talking to some friends. Chanting Hare Krishna and at the same time thinking about the day. Chanting Hare Krishna, whatever. And it's actually, Saturday morning we look at the offenses against the holy name, and one of the offenses, that it's the 11th offense, but it is also an offense not to focus while chanting Hare Krishna. That's also an offense. So, but even if we don't just want to avoid offenses, if we want to get the real benefit from chanting Hare Krishna, then again, this is devotion service. So if we just ask, now you Krishna chant, I cannot chant. You Prabhupada, please chant. I cannot chant. I cannot do it. I'm just unable. And you get rid of this ego who has been told, okay, you have to chant 16 rounds, 108 times, 16 rounds. Such a burden, so impossible. But if we go there and we just surrender, in a sense, that is surrendering. That is the surrendering. The famous sentence, surrender unto me, become my devotee. It is actually explained that human brain has not the capacity to really think itself. It is like an antenna only, so it can receive demoniac thoughts or Krishna thoughts, thinking. So, if we surrender unto this Krishna thought, then it flows. We're in the flow. And this is the idea. If we really want to get the full benefit of chanting, just surrender to Krishna. We empty ourselves, we get into this meditation, and we ask, please Prabhupada, you chant, let me chant. And then we chant very deeply with this connection, with this association with the Holy Name. And suddenly, it is so amazing. It was always so hard for me to chant. And suddenly there is this experience, there is the Holy Name and me. It's like become a friend. There's the Holy Name and me. This is amazing. I never had this even thought before. So in this last purport, Prabhupada says, actually Bharat Maharaj, in his birth of Chadabharata, was completely liberated from material dualities. He was a Paramahamsa and therefore did not care for bodily comfort. What is a Paramahamsa? Who knows the expression Hamsa? Albina, Bhaktin Albina, what is Hamsa?
Достигший высочайшего
does Hamsa mean? Hamsa?
Слово хамса что означает?
Не знаю.
No, okay. Who knows? Shama Sundari? Do you know what Hamsa means? Hamsa means swan. And Paramahamsa, the supreme swan. So, as you know, this is an expression for some very elevated spirit soul. Because we know the swan and the lotus flower, they came from the heavenly planets, not the earth. They're different from the other species here. And the Paramahamsa, the supreme swan. So this is described here. Chadabharata, he was completely liberated. He didn't care for, is this good food, is this bad food? Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it a hard body hard floor to sleep on, or is it a soft bed to sleep in? He was completely on a different platform. He was no more on this material platform. That, of course, is a very, very elevated status, and it describes this symptom of the complete devotional service, complete surrendering, completely being in this transcendental mode. Have I given some connections that have inspired you to some questions or comments, perhaps?
I have a few comments. Hare Krishna. Just want to clarify a few things. You mentioned that Patiloka is a planet in the spiritual world. Where did you read that?
Bhakti Loka. Bhakti Loka. Krishna Loka.
No, you spoke about this verse you read, how
Bhakti Loka. I didn't mention Bhakti Loka.
huh?
Bhakti Loka I did not mention. But this is all in
No, you said, you spoke about, did you speak about the verse you read, the 7th verse, after the Brahma's young wife, after trusting her 3 children, the boy and girl, to their wife, departed for Patiloka?
Aha, that is not Bhakti, there is a moment, one moment. That is...
Patiloka, Pati, not Bhakti.
Yeah,
Patiloka.
Bhakti Loka, yes. I read this I looked it up in Wikipedia, and it's one of the spiritual planets. And Prabhupada explains it in his lecture of Bhagavad Gita introduction in New York, 1966.
Well, you need to show that quote, because he's saying in this material world there is a planet known as Patiloka, just as there is a planet known as Pitriloka. Pati means husband. So the wives of departed husbands, they go to this planet.
Well, where do I have it? 1 second.
Now here is it said. Can I read?
Yeah.
This will clarify.
Yeah.
But in this verse, the word Patiloka does mean this is now speaking in the 4th canto, Maharaj Pritu. So maybe I read the translation. And the Viduram and the wives of the denizens of heaven were thus talking amongst themselves. Queen Archie reached the planet which her husband Maharaj Pritu, the topmost self-realized soul, had attained. And it speaks about Patiloka. Then Prabhupada explains, in this material world there is a planet known as Patiloka, just as there is a planet known as Pitriloka. But in this verse the word Patiloka does not refer to any planet, within this material universe. For Prithu Maharaj, being topmost amongst self-realized souls, certainly returned home back to Godhead and attained one of the Vaikuntha planets. Queen Archie also entered Bhakti Loka, but this planet is not in the material universe, for she actually entered the planet which her husband attained. In the material world also, when a woman dies with her husband, she again unites with him in the next birth. Similarly, Maharaj Prithu and Queen Archie united in the Vaikuntha planets. In the Vaikuntha planets, there are husbands and wives, but there is no question of them here. So basically, it means that wherever the husband goes, that's the Pati Loka. Loka means place, and Pati means husband.
Oh.
And if the husband goes to Vaikuntha, then it can be considered that this place is in Vaikuntha. If the husband is not going to Vaikuntha, then it is Pati Loka in the material world.
I see.
So,
Oh, okay, that's better, yeah. Alright.
and just one thing you mentioned, that we should, you quote Bruno Gröning. And Bruno Gröning, I know Bruno Gröning, he's in a different sampradaya. You know Bruno Gröning? Anyone knows Bruno Gröning?
Oh, we're going to write.
Huh?
We're going to write to listen a little bit.
Who?
Bruno Gröning.
Who?
I'm going there.
Are you good? And you said that Bruno Gröning says we have to die with a healthy body.
Yes. No, we have to, of course, we cannot just choose, but it is not a good thing to just, not solve the problems.
I just felt in my understanding of what I heard from Srila Prabhupada that I never heard it from him, from Srila Prabhupada, and I never heard it in the books. And there's one verse in the Bhagavad Gita where let me just see this. Where it is mentioned that actually this, let me look it up. That this material world, even you go up to the highest planet, you will always find even disease. Brahma Bhuvanaloka Punaravarti Norjuna Mahamapeta Tukontya Punarjanmana Vidyate. And in the previous and Prabhupada explains that these four symptoms of material life, birth, death, old age, and disease, they're always in the material world. Like when somebody says you have to not become old, we have to say it's impossible. We have to become old. If someone will say you should not die, we can say yes if I have a spiritual body, but if I have a material body, I have to die.
Yes.
And similarly, if I have a material body, I have to get sick. I have to be diseased. So Srila Prabhupada never really stressed so much this point that we should attempt to have a life without any suffering and disease in this body. But we should make the best use of a bad bargain so that we keep the soul and body together. And but then attain a spiritual body. And of course he mentioned that we should remain healthy as much as we can by keeping regulated life, sleeping properly, eating properly, etc. And Srila Prabhupada himself, he showed in his life that he was so-called, you could say, diseased, sick. And Srila Prabhupada was teaching that he was tolerating so many things in his body, and at some point he showed us, now my time has come, this body is useless, it's giving me so much trouble, now let's just give it up. So I just wanted to say that because there is a fine line between maintaining the body for devotional service and trying to bring this body to a state where it will be, which is because it's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, as the brothers of the stepbrothers of Chadabharata we already learned it in the Vedas. They took it for the ultimate reason of the knowledge, and they were not at all at the devotional platform. So at the end, it's completely useless. Yet, if you have a disturbance, and a disease is a disturbance, it can be solved. So why not solve it? You can do better devotional service. I mean, it shouldn't be the focus, your focus to be healthy. I mean, this is my ultimate goal, to be healthy. Why? This body is going to die. I'm going to give it up. I'm going to go to the next body. But if there is medicine, should I not take it? I mean, if it's medicine that works, should I not take it? If there's a healing process, should I not be healed? I can do better devotional service. I can be happier in my devotional service than if I have this disease. This is the understanding. So we get rid of these disturbances that are always on a spiritual platform also. That is why we have this material problem. But that is not our goal. Of course, I agree 100% with you. Prabhupada never stressed so much on medicine. He also said once that the Western medicine is quite good compared to the Ayurvedic medicine. It was not his topic. It's not a topic of a bhakta to take too much interest in bodily health, fitness, and all that. But should we not, take care so we can do nice devotional service? Should we not take medicine if we have some problem? Yes, he did. He also took medicine. So that's the approach.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I think there is a nice example with the car. Like if you have a car, you know that you have to service the car, you have to fix the car. But we also know a car at one point you have to throw it away. That's for sure. No car will be there forever. Every car will. In a similar way, the body can be seen that, we have to take care, we have to follow diet, we have to take medicine sometimes, we have to fix. But we also have to understand this body is not fixable forever. At some point we have to throw it,
Yes.
take another one, and hopefully it will be a spiritual body,
Yes.
spiritual car.
Yes. Albina? Bhakti Albina? Oh, I like this. This is a discussion coming
Maybe you can
to
speak.
life.
Maybe she can speak into the mic.
Okay.
Then
Yeah.
Marci.
Yeah.
No, then the viewers can hear.
If you give the microphone to her.
She can. If you speak in English into the mic, then the viewers will hear it in English.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's in Russian.
Давайте мне тогда микрофон. So, I take the mic.
Yes.
Мне микрофон, я вас услышу, вы просто говорите, и я вас переведу на...
Я хотела сказать, что Кришна нам дал аюрведу.
I wanted to say that Krishna has given us Ayurveda.
Мы сами выбрали жить в физическом теле, и раз мы сделали такой выбор, он нам помог тем, что дал аюрведу и возможности разных способов.
It's our choice to live in a physical gross body, and Krishna helps us by giving Ayurveda.
И насколько я понимаю, метод Грюна
understand the method of Bruno Gruning is based on addressing like healing energy of God.
И по поводу есть такие очевидные вещи, о которых Шрила Прабхупада мог просто не говорить, потому что они очевидные. Есть пример такой, польский словарь 2014 года. Там было написано лошадь, что такое лошадь, знают все.
And I think that Srila Prabhupada couldn't mention everything.
Well,
He just didn't mention it.
see, the Prabhupada's teaching is that even if you're perfectly healthy when you die, if you're not Krishna conscious, you take another material body. And if you take a material body, you're meant to suffer. So it's not the solution to fix this material body. Our process and the process which has been given by Srila Prabhupada that's the spiritual process, is to take the spiritual body again. If you're not Krishna conscious, and as far as I know, Bruno Gröning, he didn't speak about how to become God conscious. That means he cannot give the solution for the real problem, how to get rid of this material body. You can translate.
То есть наше тело, ну да, все равно в какой-то момент разрушится, и наша цель все-таки обрести сознание Кришны. И насколько мне известно, Бруно Грунинг не говорил о том, как обрести сознание Кришны, потому что только сознание Кришны может решить все вот эти наши проблемы рождения, смерти, болезни. То есть решение все-таки сознания Кришны.
But Srila Prabhupada told us to take medicine.
No, you have to use the microphone.
Srila Prabhupada told we should use medicine when we are sick.
Шрила Прабхупада, конечно же, говорил, что мы должны использовать медицину.
He himself was a pharmaceutist. He made medicine himself.
Он сам был фармацевтом, у него была фармацевтическая компания.
So, yeah, if you're sick like I should take some medicine.
Если вы болеете, как я, например, то вы должны принять какие-то таблетки, лекарства.
Christina, you have that? After.
You have something?
Yes, you said. No? Okay. Hare Krishna.
Прабхупада очень...
You give the microphone.
Oh yeah.
Прабхупада говорит, что очень момент важный понять, что мы не это тело.
Srila Prabhupada said that it's very important to realize that I'm not this body.
И именно это понимать правильно.
We have to understand it in a proper way.
Если даже машина ломается,
Even if a car breaks down,
я не эта машина.
I'm not this car.
Есть такое, у йогов есть такое совершенство.
Yogis have siddhas.
Он ставит на угли горящие,
For example, a yog can stand on burning ashes
и ему не больно.
and he doesn't experience pain.
Но еще момент очень важный. Еще момент очень важный.
And one more important point.
Его упускают этот момент.
Oftentimes we don't, how to say, we skip it.
Когда он стоит на углях,
We don't say it.
I mean, we don't pay attention to this point, yeah.
ноги не отгорают.
When he stands on these burning ashes, his like soils on his feet don't get burnt.
Да. И получается, что момент очень важный. Если мы не есть это тело, то если это мы понимаем правильно, то здесь вообще нет проблем.
If we properly understand that I'm not this body, that there are no problems in this world.
Well, I agree 100%. it's a controversial discussion, and certainly it will be discussed more often. I would just like to close maybe with a comment that comes up, and I think can unify this, or can bridge the topics. We understand this body is a material body, and we understand devotional service will bring us to the platform of getting a spiritual body and going back to the spiritual world, and that this body can be compared to a car, and we have to maintain the car, and we have to bring it to the service every so and so 1,000 kilometers, and then we have to pay so that the oil is changed, and the tires are changed, and the brakes are changed, and whatever needs to be changed. Otherwise we'll have an accident. And then finally this car is going to be useless because it's too old, too expensive to repair, basically, and we have to buy a new car. So this bodily platform is not the focus of Krishna consciousness. And I agree. I mean, even this yogi who stands on the glowing ashes and doesn't even get symptoms of being burned, what a wonderful capacity he has, what a siddha that is. It's not the goal of this life even to get some things. The goal is to go to the spiritual and go back to Loka Vrindavana, hopefully. But still, we are in this material body at this very moment. And why should we be sick? Why should we accept that? Why should we not use everything that we can get a hold of in order to get healthy and to be joyful and to do devotional service joyfully? Because we cannot do it if we are so sick. I'm sorry. It's not possible. So let's just use everything we can get in our hand to be healthy, and then apply this in our devotional service. That's the point. Now, there is some thinking problem with spiritual movements, that as soon as there is spiritual healing coming in, that it might be some other teaching, some other philosophy creeping in, changing our focus, that we are Rupanugas, we are followers of Rupa Goswami. We want to attain Krishna Loka. No, this is the energy of God which is there, that we can use it, we can ask it to help us in the spiritual world, in this devotional service, and to become healthy. That's all. That's all. It's explained in the Vedas, in the Upanishads, that there's 3 pillars of healing. There's one pillar that is giving medicine, that is causing at this person which is healthy the symptoms, and that person that is sick, who has exactly those symptoms, the same medicine it makes healthy. That is in the Upanishads. Hippocrates has summarized those teachings. So the one pillar is exactly that. The other pillar is you give the person a medicine that is producing some other symptoms, but still it is helping with the symptoms of this sick person, but it will not heal the person. It will just suppress the symptoms. So that is our medicine. That is the common medicine, the pharmaceutical medicine that we have today. We just suppress all the symptoms. We don't heal. Homeopathy is in the first pillar. It actually heals similar sufferings. Homeopathy. Our medicine is suppressing the symptoms. Temporary relief. Lots of side effects. And then there's the third pillar, and that is spiritual healing. That is described. So why not use spiritual healing? Does it change our devotional path? We want to be Rukanugas, we want to do devotional service. That is our commitment to Srila Prabhupada. Instead of taking a homeopathic medicine, instead of taking a chemical medicine, we take the spiritual medicine. That is how I see the bridge, and that is how it's not being a problem for our devotional service. But I know this is going to be a discussion. So, do you agree that we should close here maybe? It's a little bit late. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Nanti Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Gora Pranam.
Schrijf een bespaar niet.